So, tonight is going to be technically Cave Conversations, I believe, episode 8. Cave Conversations Live, episode 8, I should say. And we're doing it over here on Twitch. We're just trying it out, trying something different. I really enjoy the engagement on Twitch. It's been a lot more fun. I've been streaming over on Twitch a lot more with just like gaming and talk, hanging out and stuff like that in general. And I just wanted to try doing this and then posting the VOD on YouTube, seeing if everything does a little bit better that way, and just seeing if we get a little more engagement. But tonight's topics are going to be, we're going to talk a little bit about PlayStation acquiring Bungie, which it's kind of crazy. Like, January is normally a pretty dead month in the gaming and tech space in general. Besides, well, I guess not tech as much because there's CES, but there's not new stuff releasing. It's just like stuff being shown off. It's like, oh, look at this thing you might see in a year and a half. But in the gaming space especially, it's usually a very dead month. And all of a sudden, first you had Microsoft come out, Microsoft Gaming, now they're doing, which encompasses the Xbox brand and everything, acquire Activision Blizzard for just shy of $70 billion. And now you have Sony punching back, I guess, a little bit. Just trying to get noticed, acquiring Bungie at
pay attention to me.
What would have been a large number if Microsoft hadn't just done a $70 billion transaction, but $3.67 billion for Bungie, which I know a lot of people right now are saying they overpaid a little bit, but it depends on how you look at it. I'm thinking that it's probably more for their experience in technology and games as a service rather than as a way to get into, Destiny. That game's been around forever. It's probably they're going to be stepping back from that anyway, but we'll talk about that. Topic number 2 I wanted to discuss actually is and this is like Nick and I are at that right age where we grew up as kids with Pokemon Red and Blue. And this new Pokemon Arceus game for the Nintendo Switch came out. And it is, the best way I can say is it's like when you picked up Pokemon Red and Blue back in the day, this is how you imagine it. Because back then it's just like black and white, or black and green, I guess, on the original Game Boy screen. It's all like in your imagination, essentially, what you take from those sprites and what you're doing in the world. And you imagine like you're this kid running around out in the open, like throwing Pokeballs at these things and catching them, and actually like it's dangerous, they could hurt you. And that's kind of where Pokemon Arceus went. So that's, man, it's been fun. I've been playing it a lot. I know Nick hasn't gotten the chance, but we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to try and get him to pick it up tonight and play it before bed, essentially. And then after that, I wanted to talk a little bit about esports and how some of these acquisitions that are happening, because it's just been a wild month, but how those could affect some of these esports going forward that are in these companies that are being acquired. And then lastly, if we have some extra time, I think with it being Nick and myself here, it's going to be gear conversation. I mean, honestly, we might get off topic like 5 minutes into the show and be talking about gear. So
yeah, we might. I
don't know.
That's
a pretty consistent thing with us. But yeah, let's start it off with the first topic, and it's PlayStation buying Bungie. And I kind of wanted to get your opinions on it. I haven't actually gotten to talk to you about it yet. So I don't know have you played Destiny 2 at all, really?
I have, like, when it first came out. I haven't touched any of the expansions. It's funny because, like, there's a lot of people that don't realize that the latest Halo is not by Bungie. Like, Bungie created Halo, and Halo Infinite is not Bungie. So when that announcement came out, everybody, like, if you look at Twitter, and like everybody not in the know, not paying attention, was like, oh my god, PlayStation buys Halo, like, holy fuck. And it was like, nah, okay, slow down. That would be a little more expensive than $3.6 billion or whatever the fuck they spent on it.
They'd have to buy Microsoft Gaming, and Microsoft Gaming made a $70 billion transaction look like another day in the park. So
Like I don't think it's a big acquisition though, but like I think it, as they're running as like a separate entity, I think that's the good thing, is that they're going to be left to their devices for the most part as an independent subsidiary. and then they can self-publish and do whatever they choose to do. But yeah, I think it's Bungie, to me, like the only thing they focused on, and I think it's probably accurate, is Destiny. That's it. Like that's the only game I can think of that Bungie has like solely focused on.
Mm-hmm.
So are they just buying it for the player base, or like? I mean, I think most people that I know that played the game have played it on PlayStation anyways. So they came out and said that any of the games that Bungie puts out are still going to be on Xbox. So it's not going to be like the same thing that Activision Blizzard released when
Yeah.
they're getting acquired. Like there's still going to be Call of Duty for PlayStation. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see like over the time what the partnership looks like. But there's other like various proprietary tools and intellectual property that I think they acquired. Like that was more important than just acquiring Destiny.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see what of those tools for the platform studio and publishing like really enhances what PlayStation is doing with their game consoles. I got a PS5. I know you got a PS5. You've got an
Yep.
Xbox as well. So I mean, we're very well versed in all different consoles, platforms, and we've got access to everything. I don't have an Xbox Series X or a Series S. I do have the PC, so I can play most of the games anyways. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see because I know Sony is acquiring people. I think since 2021 they've acquired 5 or 6 different companies.
They've been mostly smaller transactions. They got, I think it's Nixus, who's pretty much known for PC ports, which is great because PlayStation's trying to port a lot of their back catalog to PC and kind of get that double dip, put it up for $50. Games that are selling for $5, at GameStop, they can now sell for $50 on PC to people who have never gotten the chance to play them. They also picked up the studio that did. Oh, it was like I can't remember. They picked up Bluepoint, who did the remake for Demon's Souls, but then they also picked up the studio. It was a game early last year. I didn't end up picking it up because it had a lot of issues at the beginning, but it was it wasn't a Metroidvania.
It's not Cyberpunk, right?
No, it was.
I was like that studio. I can't remember the fucking studio that bottled that one. Can't remember it off the top of my head. Whatever but I was like, they didn't get acquired.
The type of game where it's like every time you die, you always go back to the beginning. You get different gear. I can't remember. Roguelike game. It was one of those, but it was a really beautiful looking game. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. Probably because it's the first beer I've had in like a month and a half. Already losing my memory. But no,
you can't speak.
Yeah, so they picked up that studio, Bluepoint, Nixus, and now they just picked up Bungie. But I think, kind of like I was saying in the intro, I think Bungie is, for them, going to be more about what they can do in the future, not what they're doing right now. And I think that's also where some of the wording of what they said when they're like, oh, we're not going to take any of the experiences of the games off of Xbox. I think they say that because they're not going to take anything that's on Xbox away from Xbox or PC or anything right now. But in the future, it's the same as what Microsoft said when they purchased Bethesda. They were like, oh yeah, we're not going to take away any of the existing properties. And they said it in a really, lawyer way or businessman way where you tiptoe around what words you use so that it makes people think, wait, are these going to be exclusive? No, they're going to keep it all over the place, right? No, you don't spend that kind of money, whether it's $3 billion, whether it's $70 billion. You don't spend that kind of money to keep everything everywhere. You do it for exclusivity. You do it to bring people to your platform. Whether it's a cloud-based platform, whether it's, a subscription-based over a console or a PC, or whether it is just the console box. You want people on your service. You want that reoccurring payment. And yeah, like Mike just said in the chat, no matter what amount of money that is, it's real money. And there's a business decision being made there. And there's no way that you get that kind of money from your investors with with saying, you walk in there and you're like, they're like, what's the return on investment going to be? And you're like, well, we're changing nothing.
Yeah.
No. What are you doing to beat the competition? And then you can have the money. Like that's so there's a plan in some way to bring people to their service or their console.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because like I just stumbled across this Verge article that they put out that one of their big ambitions obviously is to compete with like Fortnite, where Fortnite's on a bunch of different platforms. The PlayStation brand through this could certainly get pushed into multiple platforms. That Density or Destiny. I'm confusing Kyle's fucking company. 9.2% already. Jesus fuck. Destiny can be pushing the PlayStation brand into multiple platforms.
Right.
And the recurring revenue model is important, obviously. So like the free to play, but DLCs and other stuff is definitely important. It's interesting because like if you think about it, the Xbox Activision Blizzard deal was significant for a very specific reason to me. Every time a Call of Duty came out, they had a PlayStation exclusive alpha, beta, where it would come out first on PlayStation. So you needed a PlayStation to play it first and see it first before it came out to the public.
Do you remember what it was the generation before that, though?
It was Xbox.
It was Xbox 360 until when the PS4 came out, Sony made a deal. And I don't know when that contract ends, but yeah, they did. But yeah, your point is still the same. There's always one of the companies
but, like,
bidding.
The thing is that again, like this, exactly. So, but like they kind of said when they made this deal that you wouldn't see exclusive Destiny deals or weapons and shit like that for PlayStation like they saw in the past.
Right.
Now that would look a little petty, I guess you could say, if like Sony owns them, making those decisions. I'm not even gonna say excuse me. This is gonna happen. We're drinking beer. We're gonna burp. Sorry. But yeah. So I think like the additional like campaign content, DLCs, activities, like all that revenue is really solid for what Sony was buying. And then also like I think Sony made a certain investment. I think it was in Fortnite too. They made it, I think it was like in 2020 and then last year. So I think their total investment was like almost like $500 million that they made to get some stake at least in Fortnite.
Well,
and the revenue it was making.
They have put a decent amount of money into that because every time the Epic CEO comes out, I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but every time there's a showcase where he comes out and talks, he always ends up the best place to play Fortnite, PlayStation, which shocks me. And it's, there's a reason he's saying that. There's money talking, and there's a lot of exclusive content. But you would think that a PC-based like platform at the Epic Store, the CEO would be coming out and saying the best place to play our game is from our launcher on a PC. So the fact that they've come out and said the best place to play Fortnite is a PlayStation, there's money talking there. Just like you said, there's investments. And I think, to Mike's question in the chat too, going forward, like I said earlier, the buy here wasn't for Destiny. And it might not even be for any specific Bungie content. What I think they're looking for is Bungie's experience. Bungie launched Destiny back in 2013, the original Destiny 1. So between Destiny 1 and 2, they have had a game as a live service running now for 9 years successfully. PlayStation doesn't have any exclusives right now that are games as a service, but all around them for the last 4 or 5 years, those types of games have been blowing up. You've got like Fortnite, Rocket League. Now Call of Duty has Warzone, which is technically games as a service type thing. All these free-to-play games that are coming out where they have consistent item shops, new seasons, new downloadable content. The game is free to play, but all of that content costs money. It's crazy what people spend on skins. Like there's freaking, like I was talking about on a stream recently for Valorant, which is another free-to-play game from Riot. The skins in that game, just to make your guns look different, you can get 5 gun skins right now and it's $100 just to make the gun you're using not work any differently. It just looks different when you're running around with it. But it's crazy. The reason they price it that way, and the price keeps going up, is because people buy it. So PlayStation wants to get on a successful games as a service type thing, and going forward, they need a company that has experience with that. Sony has these insane blockbuster first-party titles, but none of them are ongoing games as a service type things. They want to break into that online market, and I know one of the games they've been trying to do it with is the Last of Us series. Supposedly was going to have like an online thing coming, and it was going to have essentially like I think the way I pictured it almost be like the Walking Dead type thing, where they're going to have factions and different groups of people and things you can join like that, and it's essentially a post-apocalyptic I don't know if it'd be MMO or it'd be more like The Division, I guess. A games as a service type experience similar to The Division, if anyone's ever played that.
So the interesting thing I completely forgot about too, Bungie had signed a 10-year deal like after Halo Reach was released. Mm-hmm. So there was a 10-year Activision deal where they had exclusive rights to bring the games to market, and that's really what Destiny came to be from that. So it's interesting. Everybody's all intertwined. What do you think the next acquisition is going to be? There's a couple that come to mind for me, but I want to see what you think, because like there seems to be a big consolidation of what's going on right now, and I've got a couple that come to mind of like acquisition targets possibly.
For
I know it's a curveball for you. Like who do you think is going to be acquired next?
So there's been a lot of conversation around this. A lot of people are saying Square Enix specifically. I don't think, and I know PlayStation said they didn't specifically say they're looking to make more acquisitions. They said they're looking to make more deals in the near future.
Right.
And what I'm thinking with that is, and they already have Square Enix in their back pocket. They already pay for so much exclusivity, specifically with just the Final Fantasy games alone, which are huge money makers for them. But there's other Square Enix RPGs that do insanely well that are maybe on Switch or Xbox or all of the consoles and PC that Sony might be thinking, hey, what if that's just on our console? I mean, they got all these Western RPGs now with Bethesda over, like Skyrim. You got Starfield coming out, Fallout maybe in another 10 years, who knows? But let's get the Japanese RPGs, the big heavy hitters that do sell in the West, but also still do great over here in the East as well. We already usually have a timed exclusivity on those, so they come out for the first year or 2 years on PlayStation. How about we just lock them down, pay a little bit more?
So there is one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. I saw it's coming to Switch. Do you know which one that is?
I saw. I saw there's a like Chrono Cross remake coming.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm excited about that, but that's not the one that's coming out on Switch. This one, did it come out for PS Vita? I think it came out for PS Vita.
Oh,
first.
Persona 4 Golden is coming.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited because I already have it on PC, and I picked it up because it was a Steam deal at one point, and I got it for like $3, and it was a couple months ago. And I'm like, but it's a game I want to play in handheld. I picked it up because I'm like, oh, the Steam Deck's coming. But if it comes out on Switch before I can get a Steam Deck, I'm definitely going to play it on Switch.
Yeah, it's definitely coming out on Switch. I think the only time I played it was on PS Vita. And yeah, there's rumors that it's going to come out this year on Switch in a recent leak. So I don't think there's been console versions at all, but I think it was like, PlayStation Vita previously, which I still have sitting around here somewhere. It's like the first Gen 1 as well.
Yeah, I remember you had that, and you had the PlayStation TV as well, right?
Yep.
Do you still have that?
Yeah, it's sitting around here somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Tech just all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm going to clean up my home office. I've started reorganizing a little bit, hence this new setup. The PlayStation TV is somewhere.
Well, and that's interesting because that game, the PlayStation TV, could play Vita games.
It could.
So, and that's locally, right? You could download them to the PS TV and play them.
There's a slot too.
Oh, so it could actually take the Vita games.
Let me rephrase that.
I think you might be right.
If you take the, I think if you take the SD card, or I can't remember like what the cartridge looked like for that, but yes, there was like a couple slots on the PlayStation TV to put stuff in it and then play it. But I can't remember if it was just the SD card out of it or if it was like an actual game cartridge. Because those cartridges, I think, were like the weird like format.
I gotta look that up real quick, just to see what one of those.
Love the matching outfits.
Why? Thank you. I'm interested to see what a PlayStation TV.
Well, the good thing about that too is that you could play remote play. So you can play your PlayStation 4, or I doubt you can play a PS5, but you play your PS4 like remote play, right?
Dude,
so it was just a remote play box.
So a PlayStation TV goes for $100 to $150 roughly right now, which is funny because no, this is on eBay used, which is funny because when they came out they were $100 new. If you have a new one sealed in box, they're selling for like $300. But it's funny because no one wanted it when it was new. But I'm curious, and the reason I was curious about it is because Sony they almost did it last year. People threw a fit about it, and it was more because there wasn't enough of a heads up. But closing down the PlayStation 3, the PSP, and the PS Vita store, and the online stores, and what the real negative impact of that isn't that you can't buy stuff anymore, but it's that those servers are no longer accessible. So games that you maybe purchased digitally already, you can no longer go download. If you don't have it downloaded, you're out of luck. You may have paid $60 for that game, but sorry, you don't have it backed up, kind of thing. And that's where people were frustrated. There wasn't more of a heads up, so Sony did delay that, and it's actually happening in kind of a wave this year. They did just shut down the PSP online store and servers, which honestly I don't think anyone cares too much about that. That's almost 20 years old. But the PS3 and PS Vita are coming up this summer, where they will be shutting down those servers. And I think because of that, things like the PS Vita, the PS3, and the PlayStation TV, which can play all of those games, are rocketing up in price because people want to pick them up, get all the things downloaded off the store, so they're not worried that, like, oh my god, I'll never have a chance at this content.
I'm remembering it now. That fucking PS Vita needed a very special memory card, a specific memory card that was expensive as shit. Like, I've spent a decent amount of money. Like the new CF Express card that I bought for this, expensive as shit. This Vita memory card at the time was so expensive. I forget like how much it was, and it wasn't even that much space. Now I gotta look it up.
No, I remember that was one of the issues. It was probably a 32 gigabyte card.
4 gigabyte card costs $30. 8 gigabyte card costs just shy of $50. A 16 gigabyte costs $70. 32 gigabyte memory card costs $120.
Oh, okay, that's
almost half the price.
I was
going to
say a little over $100.
Itself.
Yeah, I was going to say a little over $100 for the 32. So I remember that, and part of that's I listened to too many.
I think I bought the 32 gig though. I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Dude, you're JetBlk. You gotta have latest and greatest, so that makes sense.
Maximum power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's now these things. Once there's a scarcity, once there's someone saying you're not going to be able to have this thing, the price is gonna go up because people are like, oh shit, it's my last chance to get this thing. And that's a whole nother thing in gaming in general right now, where when you buy digitally, you're not buying to own. You're buying until they no longer host that game on that server. Which
you're
is
it could be entitlement.
It could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 50 years. Who knows? But
so let's talk about NFTs and how you don't own actually fucking shit. You own a URL.
Don't even get me started. I hate NFTs so much. Hate it with a passion. And I know there's people in the creative community who enjoy them because it is a way to share your art.
Yeah,
and I understand
but you had ways to share your art before. There were ways to buy prints that you physically owned.
Oh my God. Don't get. Abby already knows. Just mentioning NFTs can set me off. So yeah.
Yeah, you talk about deviation of topics. Don't get me fucking started.
Do you wanna buy a receipt? That's all you're doing.
Mr. Ward, you can go to what NFT
Wal-
stands for? Not a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's what it stands for.
You can go to Walmart and just buy a receipt for an item if you want. I'd like to buy a receipt for that $1,600 TV, but I'll pay $2,600 for the receipt. That's essentially what fucking NFTs are right now.
The thing that drives me fucking nuts, though, is again, and like Mike as an artist would appreciate this, but like you had every opportunity to support the artist previously by commissioning them for a painting, buying a print, something that wasn't just this digital bullshit, which is like literally a URL to the CDN. If you don't know what a CDN is, it's a content delivery network. So like if somebody were to acquire that domain down the road, this is the only soapbox we're going to get into for this. If somebody were to acquire the domain down the road, let's say like OpenSea disappears. I acquire the domain. If I want, I can take every single URL that was hosted there, pointing to the blockchain, pointing to that URL, put cat pictures there. I can put pictures of literal shit. And that would be your NFT. That's what your wallet's pointing
honestly,
to.
They can just let that lapse, and it can go away. Like they don't need. It doesn't even have to be reacquired by somebody else. It can just
somebody
lapse.
could technically just buy the company and the domain. Like if you just bought, like I let's say like I want to be malicious, right? I have a shitload of money. I can just buy the domain. I can make you an offer that you can't refuse, and now it's mine. And I can do whatever the fuck I want with it to just do whatever I want with those URLs.
And on top of all that, I'm just gonna copy and paste it.
Yeah, right click save as.
Yeah.
Fungible.
It's goddamn. It's yeah.
Yeah, Mike, I agree. He's saying, "Chat, it's not about the art." Yeah,
no,
yeah, that's like so. There are some things that people are trying to do to differentiate versus like simply like, hey, buy this digital monkey URL thing, right? There are some things that I've seen some photographers that are actually saying, hey, if you buy my NFT of this photo, like I'm gonna send you like a super fucking high quality print thing, whether it's a metal print, canvas, whatever have you. That they're sending something physical that you can have. Because like the most absurd thing that I've seen is like people are marketing digital displays as an NFT like gallery thing that you can buy. It's attached to your wallet, but it's expensive as fuck because of course it has NFT in it.
Right.
It's a fucking TV.
No, it's
that's so all dumb. It is.
It's and I was talking to another one of our buddies. I guess last night. Yeah. Joe, and just about NFT and blockchain technology. I know we're getting a little off topic here, but
not a fucking
I do
thing.
enjoy this. But he was talking about the ways where the technology behind it like is good going forward. The good things that can come from it when it comes to like medical contracts, things in law, different documents, ways to document or I guess research, different things like that. Honestly, some of the stuff he was getting into, I don't even fully like. We were literally in the middle of a volleyball game talking about this, so like I didn't have time to sit down and talk to him about it yet. But some of the stuff he was talking about sounded like there's real benefits to some of this technology. But of course, the first thing that happens whenever there's a breakthrough in new technology, new product, anything like that, anything that's revolutionary, the first thing people want to do is figure out how to make money. The second thing people will do is, how is it truly useful? And I think that's what's going to happen is all of this crap that's happening right now where everyone's just trying to take advantage of the new thing to make a quick buck. And a lot more people are being fooled by it and getting tricked out of their money to just make the people who started the whole process even richer.
Yeah.
Once that all passes, I think there are going to be some really good benefits to like blockchain technologies. I really hope that there's huge progress in the efficiency of it, because right now that is a concern, the environmental effects of all of this. And that's also another topic. We don't need to get into that right now. I don't want to keep going sideways with all of this, but
this is
it
funny.
is real.
So 100 Thieves, they just had their LCS North American Championship for League of Legends. Their team won LCS for North America. What they did is that they gave them, commemorative bomber jackets customized with the player names, and they also made a diamond and platinum chain with some sapphire, or was it sapphires or something else? But what they did is they made like the 100 Thieves logo, like just blinged out. And like they've had a couple chains like that previously. So what they did is that for the fans that were part of the championship run and all that, they released for free, gas fees covered, everything. They released an NFT that you could just collect, like up through like this Friday, I think. You can just go and claim it for free. And 100 Thieves was covering all the gas fees and all that other shit. But like it was funny because like they did list like the carbon footprint of this was like the equivalent to sending 2 emails.
Okay.
I don't know how the fuck they calculated that.
Interesting.
But that was one of the things that was like, this is why, like, it's free, blah, 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 blah. The interesting thing about it and the way they marketed it was a digital collectible, they didn't use the word NFT. They didn't use the term. And I think so many people on Twitter have added it to their blocked phases that companies are strategically not using that acronym. Just because a lot of people have it blocked. I have it fucking blocked. The other thing I have blocked is Wordle. We're not going to fucking get into that too. Because do I want to see what you're doing on Wordle and tweeting it every fucking day? Fuck no. So there's a couple things I have blocked. Yeah, playing's one thing, but every day.
I only started it yesterday though. So, and it's probably not going to last much longer. That is another news topic we could talk about later. But New York Times acquired Wordle for 1/1000th the cost of Bungie, but it was from one person. It wasn't buying a company. So honestly, great job to the engineer who designed this for his wife to have fun playing a word game. He made $3.6 million off of it when the New York Times acquired it yesterday. So
we've gotten so fucking off topic.
I know.
It's currently 8:46.
All right,
we've talked on one of our targeted topics.
Let's bring it back in. I'll actually be live again, guys, tomorrow night, playing some games and stuff. And what I love
playing some games
more than anything is when people stop into chat and get me off topic talking about tech, gaming, whatever. I absolutely love doing that and just interacting with everybody. So if you guys want to have more questions on any of this, swing in. But let's get into the next topic, and it's actually the game I'll be playing tomorrow night. But that's Pokemon Legends Arceus. And Nick, I know you haven't gotten the chance to play it yet, so in a way, I'm going to be pitching this to you. Oh, is your beer empty?
Not yet. Yeah, Mike was just saying, everybody take a drink right now. So I'm just obliging. Dude, this
Cheers,
is like
Mike.
I'm looking at my monitor, like my actual monitor for this in 4K. It looks crispy as fuck. Over here on just the stream, it's just not. It just doesn't look as good, dude. We got to fix your bit rate. I don't know what the hell's going on with your channel.
Is it? I mean, it's a smooth bitrate right now. Like I don't have any issues, but yeah, it's literally I have it set at 3000.
It's just not that crispy 4K. It's just 1080p. You know.
Well, that's just Twitch. I mean,
unless maybe like I'm looking at it on my MacBook Pro screen, which is Retina, so I don't know if it's just like.
I mean, Mike
how
says
it's showing on my Retina display.
He says
yeah,
it looks good. What I do want
to,
you brought up the Sony. We're gonna get off topic with gear real quick, but you brought up the Sony, talking about comparing it to the Fuji and how slow the autofocus is on Fuji. So even mine, for example, I'm on Sony right now as well, and part of the reason I got this camera, I'm just using the ZV-1 for live stream and some of my other content now, and I got it even though it's a fixed or it doesn't have interchangeable lenses. It does have a bit of optical zoom on it. It's a decent lens. It's a $700 camera, but the autofocus on this thing for a little 4K camera is so good.
I mean, it's so wild. Notice what yours is doing though when you do that.
It does have that little bit where it tries to find in between. Yours is much quicker. But I mean,
so there's a new feature on my camera. It's called see the zoom thing that happens when you do that. You have something that's like a focus breathing. So watch when I do it. There's a new feature that when it focuses, it's not jarring. It just
No.
goes smooth between that to this. It's because I have a feature turned on with this camera
Is
that
it?
compensates for the focus breathing. It's a digital thing that crops in, like, I think it's like less than
Oh.
10% to compensate and make that less jarring. Cinema
Interesting.
cameras and cinema lenses have this feature.
Interesting. Yeah, that. Well, I mean, either way, like obviously,
like,
this
seriously,
isn't.
Mike, like, look at
yeah,
that.
that's really nice. I mean, this isn't quite
Ooh.
cinema level, obviously. Huge difference in our cameras, even though I would really like
So I
my
think
next
the
goal.
function might come to your camera. I don't know. It's a digital feature. Like,
Well, I was gonna say I believe it is, and it is already. I know the feature you're talking about. It's already in the successor to this camera, which is a Sony E-mount camera. It's the ZV-E10, the
Yes.
successor to this. Same price, $700 body, or $800 with the kit lens. But it's always sold out because it's like it's slowly becoming like the starter YouTube Twitch camera.
if you buy that camera, I'll just buy your ZV-1 off you, and we'll just call it even.
No, if I get it, it's because it's to go with the ZV-1, and I'm getting rid of my Canon because I barely use my Canon anymore. I love the lenses, and I'm not actually going to get rid of it. When I say get rid of it, it was originally a present for Abby, so it'll just go back to her.
Spoiler.
No, she knows that it's her. It's technically her camera.
We just got like so fucking deviated. You're right, talking about
goddamn.
gear and
Yeah,
shit.
it's
It's like Pokemon.
We knew it was gonna happen. Anyway, Pokemon Legends. Back to it. Voice crack. No, so Nick, we grew up with Pokemon, red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. And when I know myself when playing those, like looking back on it, how I pictured those games, how I imagined everything I was doing, any game, honestly, on like Game Boy Color, Nintendo, all the older stuff, it was pixel art, top down for any like RPG style thing, and you let your imagination do honestly like 90% of the work while you're playing these types of games. And as games got better, graphics got better, consoles, equipment, everything got better, that kind of shifted, and it became, oh my god, how can this game deliver how I used to view this, or how I used to imagine this could be. And so many franchises have delivered on that. I know we talked about Final Fantasy, even when it first went 3D with Final Fantasy VII, that was revolutionary, and now you can even see that in Final Fantasy VII Remake. But there's been a franchise, Pokemon, who's been terrible at bringing this forward. They always seem so behind. They've stuck with the same formula forever, and finally, there's a game that deviates from the formula, and it's probably a spin-off in a way, a spin-off series, but it seems like one they will keep around, especially the fact that it's literally number one on the sales charts across the board for the last week and a half now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this sell over 20 million in a year, with how games on the Switch sell anyway.
Right. And honestly, like I just looked up some of the stuff about this and like some of the graphics because I haven't played it yet. I haven't. I played the last one that came out. I can't remember what the Shining Diamond or whatever the fuck. But this looks like it almost looks like this is like Breath of the Wild.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is what I was just leading into with imagining it. How did you imagine Pokemon would be? But before you look at it anymore, why don't you stop real quick?
Top down.
No. How did you, when you were playing Pokemon on Red and Blue back in the day? How did you like imagine? Oh my God! If I'm in this world, how did you imagine yourself as that player? Because like I know back then when it was just 8-bit RPGs, everyone kind of pictured what could this be.
I don't know, cause like remember like when that game came out, like Game Boys were still black and white, so that was still like very early in the possibilities of like what gaming could be and where technology could go.
Right.
I was trying to remember, like when you're playing that tiny dot matrix fucking handheld screen.
Yeah.
And like when that came out, like that was like what 95, 96.
So it came out 96 in Japan, 98 over here.
So I would have been like 8 years old. And like I don't know if my technical understanding of the possibility of what could be back then, like
I guess not. That's not the question I'm asking. More of is where did your imagination take it? Like what did?
Well, I've got the whole thing down in the basement that says like I went to like I think it was back in the day. You had Arby's, Burger King, and a couple of like fast food restaurants that you had. The kids' meals came with like this plastic Pokeball,
Right.
and I think it was Arby's that had the collectibles with like the gold-plated things.
That was Burger King.
Yeah, so I've got some of those in the
Yeah.
basement. I've got like a bunch of other like Pokeball things. What I do need to still do is go. I know where they are. I do have my brothers and my Pokemon cards down in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
The original 150. I don't know. I don't think I have all of them. But and I'm trying to remember if I have Charizard or any of that shit because like I know it's like very much a pricey, expensive thing.
Well,
that, like,
only
if you have one.
Only if you get it graded.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I've got some stuff. I've got some stuff in the basement I haven't looked at yet. I had like some of the stuff that when you went to the movie, the Pokemon movie, you went to the movie theater and you had some like limited edition like stuff when you like got one of the early like tickets to go see the movie, Mew and Mewtwo. So I've got some stuff like that.
Like the ancient Mew card that you got.
I do have that.
Yeah, I wish I still had all that stuff. I sold my original collection of cards for $20 at a garage sale.
So I've got some stuff in the basement that I need to go see. But like I think like back to the where I was going with that story is that you get these things from going to get like fast food shit, right? Like you go get these collectible items that's like a little toy thing for like kids. And I think like I strictly remember back in my childhood background, we had our playground where like friends would gather to battle Pokemon cards and to trade and open
the
packs
games
to see what everybody got and play the games. Just sitting outside on the playground in our backyard playing our Game Boys. And there was like when you had like those physical toys from the fast food restaurants, you would hunt for Pokemon in the yard.
Yeah. No, and that's
very
I
3D
guess,
experience.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is this is the game essentially, and as I play it, it truly feels
the
that way.
TV show.
It's the game that you always kind of wanted. With the whole thing was always collect them all, and it was you imagine throwing the ball at the Pokemon, and in a way, this game is almost a third-person shooter. Or in that sense,
Don't tell me that. I'm really good at those.
In that sense, because you have to, you actually have to be sneaky, stealthy. You strategize kind of whether you want to battle or you want to throw a treat out to distract it, or you want to hit it with a mud
that got
ball
released
to
like
dizzy
that
it.
though? I thought there was a Pokemon game that got released like that was more open world.
There hasn't been. So Pokemon Sword and Shield had wild areas that you could run around in, but they were bad. I mean, the pop in was so bad. You would be like 5 steps from a Pokemon and it would pop in. Like that's like it didn't have that like actual feeling in it of like I'm running around finding these things interacting in the wild. In this game, you genuinely find like habitats where they're interacting and doing like a thing you'd picture like an animal to be doing. Like a Bidoof, which is like a beaver, essentially, Pokemon version of a beaver. They have a dam that they like built in the game that they're hanging out at. Like that makes sense, and like they'll be swimming around the water, or like things interact the way you'd expect them. Pokemon that are more timid run from you if they see you. Pokemon that are aggressive will straight up just attack you. And in this game, they don't just attack your Pokemon; they attack you. They see you in the wild and they're like, what's this person like? Oh, as a wild animal would. They attack you because you're in their habitat. You have a dodge roll in this game. You have mounts that you can like ride and stuff to get out of places. You can ride, you can fly, you can climb.
Keep going, by the way, but I'm getting my Switch to plug it in
to get it started. Yeah,
keep going.
Never grow up. Yes, I agree. Well, but yeah, they have all of these different things that it's like. Back when I was a kid, like an 8-year-old, essentially playing these games, this is how I would have, pictured the world being if Pokemon existed in it. And also, if Pokemon existed in it, hell yeah, I'd be scared as shit of them. Like, these things, like, breathe fire, shoot water, like, essentially, like, they have a hydro pump. So picture like a hydrant opening up and hitting you full blast, like things like that. No, I don't want any of those things. I don't want to get a thunderbolt, like supposedly like 1,000,000 volts of electricity sent through my body. None of those things I want. And you're walking around in these environments.
Those all sound awful, by the way.
Yeah, you're walking around in these environments, and that can actually not happen to you in real life, but happen to your character now. And that gives it a feeling of how, I guess, as the show portrayed it, as how my brain thought of it back in the day. Like, why don't these things attack me? Well, now they do. And it gives it a completely different feel, and it makes it more high stakes, but also more fun in that discovery and collectible. Like, you want to collect them all, and you have to do it in a way where you traverse and learn about the world, and you're building the first Pokedex for this region and everything, and it's like more of a notebook style thing. It's just a lot of fun. And yeah, the whole point of wanting to talk about this on here, one, figured I'd sell it to you, but I'm just so excited for it, playing it this past week. And I know Mike said in the chat I'm clearly older than both of you, but no, it's as someone who grew up with this game, and it's a huge part of my life, the IP as it is. I mean, honestly, millions and millions and millions of people out there. This game finally, I think, is the step in the right direction. The place where it's very clear Game Freak struggles still is the graphics and performance, I guess, of 3D environments. They're still working on. So the game isn't always the prettiest for a newer title. But that's very easy to overlook in this game with how much fun the gameplay loop is. So that's all I wanted to touch on. I don't know if you had any thoughts on all of that.
I'm just really excited to play it. Like I said, I went to like the game details website that Nintendo has. I'm looking at it. The graphics look nice. It looks like Breath of the Wild. I like the detail of it. I do like more open world games where you can just go explore and just fuck around versus like you need to go through like this maze and that's like your only thing, right?
Right.
Like RPGs have always been a thing that I've enjoyed. My biggest thing is that I've started way too many. I've stretched myself so thin on various things that I know I've talked to you about this before. I think I brought it up before on previous Cape conversations, but I played my Switch a lot when I was traveling, a lot, because it was easy to just on a flight, just get out your Switch, play, kill some time. I don't want to work when I'm on a plane if I don't have to, right? So the fact that I'm not traveling, I haven't picked up my Switch as much as I used to, but what I should do, and this is where it's like a house project for me. So I've got the third floor where I've got kind of the home theater setup, but it's more workout yoga studio thing than it is gaming station. And I do have to get some furniture, and depending on what I do with my studio, there might be some stuff coming there. But right now I'm keeping the studio. So that's the update from the last thing. Just a little tidbit if you guys watched. But like up there, like I do have a dock for the Switch. What I should do is I've got a second dock. What I should do is plug in my second dock on this TV that's up over here.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good call.
And then I could sit here and just like lounge back, just chill and just play Switch, as I see fit.
And also, you're right there. You could plug it into your capture card anytime you wanted to stream a Switch game.
Yeah, because I think like some of those games would be like pretty chill. Like, because I play a lot of multiplayer games, and sometimes I just want a game that I can chill on. There's some games I can chill on with some friends. There's some games that like I can just chill. So I think it's something that I could do for sure. And it's just, I think I haven't used my Switch in a dock mode in a long time. The last time we did it, I think, was probably when I brought the dock down to my TV in the living room when you were over for that party we had. Like, I think it was my birthday or something. We were playing like Mario Party, or we just had a little get together at the house. We were playing Mario Party or like something on the TV where I just brought the dock down, plugged it in. I don't even remember if we used it when I plugged it in down there.
I don't even know if I was there for that.
I think I brought it down. We never used it, but it was for like one of like the get-togethers at the house. It might have been my birthday after I moved in, and we just never used it. Yep. So like I haven't used my Switch in a dock mode, which I do have the Pro controller. So like it's just like playing like PlayStation. So that's one of the things that I think if I played my Switch more as a console versus a handheld, I'd probably get more use of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's just one of those things of like, I've got so much shit going on, so many like different hobbies. It's like hard to balance
I
time
completely
outside of
agree with
work.
that. I know what you
Yeah.
mean there. And actually, I think it's funny because I'm the almost exact opposite of you when it comes to the Switch, in that I almost exclusively played it in docked mode for like the first 3 years we had it. And just
Ooh.
recently, I've started playing it in handheld mode more, and I absolutely love it. I take it to work. I got the Satisfy grip now. If anyone knows what that is,
You
and
did
if
show me
not, if you
that when
have, yeah,
you showed me that, yeah.
I showed it to you. I think when I came up to the office, I showed it to you, and it's so comfortable because the one of the things is if you have bigger hands, the Switch is it's smaller, so it's cramped to try and like play, especially if you're laying in bed or on a flight or anything. Your hands are gonna cramp up after like 45 minutes of trying to hold on to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to play for like if you're on like a 3 hour flight, you want to be able to play the whole time. You're trying to go through like a story based game or something. And the Satisfy grip, I will say, made it a lot more comfortable. And because of that, and I've been getting back into like RPGs in general.
Hold on,
I've
real
been
sec,
taking it.
real quick.
Oh, okay.
Lars, I see you in chat. You haven't drank for the entirety of January that I know of. Have a shot. Have a shot for us.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Lars, actually, here, let me finish my statement, and then I have I got to show you the beer I'm drinking. Um, and oh yeah, and Lars actually is another person who likes a rusty nail. So Lars in chat, Mike Worth Studios there. He's drinking what he calls a rusty Kentucky because he was all out of scotch. So he's drinking Drambuie and Wild Turkey. Oh, definitely have a whiskey pour. Of course that's acceptable.
Ooh.
You just got to tell us what it is. And back to the thought though, with the Switch and getting into RPGs and everything lately, I've been taking it to work, and it's been like my lunch break kind of getaway. If I need 30 minutes away from my desk, I take it to the lunchroom, the break room with me. I eat my food super quick, and then I'll sit there and play for 20, 25 minutes. Just
You
a
peasant
single
going into
player.
the office.
I mean, I work from home today.
Mike Worth, don't shoot me, please, because I know you've been slaving away having to go in because your fucking work just.
But no, and actually after working, I worked from home for the first year and a half of the pandemic, and I was pretty happy to get to go back into the office. It became a point where I didn't have that separation of work and
Right.
home, so I like the office, but I also like that break in the middle of the day where it's my time. And there was a while where I was eating my lunch at my desk, and I didn't see the problem in that. And then all of a sudden, it just seemed like I was more exhausted at the end of the day. So then I started bringing in my Switch. I get that separation from my desk, and I have my own time to play a game or something for a bit. And it's made my days so much better. I love the Switch more because of it. So yeah, I appreciate this hybrid thing that Nintendo has done, I guess, is the moral of that story.
Do you still have the Gen 1 or do you have the new one?
I still have the original one.
That's what I've got too.
It's fine. I mean, they haven't done enough to be like, oh, I need that upgrade. Like even not even the OLED model, but they switched from the original white box to the red box Switch 2.5 years ago. Honestly, it was like 6 months after we got our Switch, and it was the biggest thing is essentially it was double the battery life because the chipset they were using is just that much more efficient. But it was the same, all of the way it ran the games and everything exactly the same. You just have better battery life, which is a great feature. When you can go from right now, depending on the game I'd probably get 2.5 to 5 hours of battery life, which is what they rate it for. Most of the games I play, though, I make sure I keep it on a lower brightness. And I never, with how I do the handheld, which is at work, I'm never away from a charger long enough where I'm like, man, I really need the different model to get longer battery life. Like, I've never ran out of battery playing a game. Like, I don't really ever play a game for more than 3 hours at a time, at least in a handheld. On stream or something I might, but I'm sitting at my computer. So, but is that where you were going with it, or have you found a reason to upgrade?
No, I was just curious. I have not. I mean, you know me. I like having the latest greatest thing, but like when I looked at it, I'm like, there's barely a difference. And I knew that I wasn't using it as much as I was using other things. So like, that my Switch usage was limited. So would I really care to spend the money in the end? Probably not. Even if it was like, I've upgraded things before when it's like minimal, right? But if it's not something that I'm interacting with every fucking day, there's no point for me.
Yeah.
There's not. So that's called an infinity bottle. I do have an infinity bottle, Lars. Don't make me go get it.
I also have an infinity bottle upstairs. But I'm not gonna go get it.
Yeah. I'm out of beer, so I finished my beer.
Mine's low. I've been sipping it slow though because it's strong. Anyway, yeah, Lars, I should. So, anyone who's curious, Lars in chat. I don't have it set up since we're doing this stream, making a VOD out of it. I don't have my alerts, and I don't have like the other stuff set up that I would normally have. But I'll have a shout out thing.
Do you have one of those commands?
Yeah, I have a shout out command now that'll play clips from other people's channels and stuff. But
Eric's smacking my butt.
what? Oh, Lars, you just popped in. What the hell?
Well, he didn't pop on the stream as far as I could tell though.
Oh, did you use the shout out command?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it did work.
Yeah, but he didn't show up on the stream though.
Right, it just played his clip. Okay, I didn't think it would.
I didn't hear it. But it's also fucked up because
it didn't come through stream. It just played in my headphones. That makes more sense.
That also, yeah. So you got monitor turned down. The thing that got fucked up.
Audio did come up. Okay, so audio did come up
did?
because it came through my speakers. But
I've got your stream muted.
No, that's fine. I don't have it set up on this overlay specifically, so it came through a different overlay. But apparently the alert still works. That's
by the way, somebody's fucked up with your command too, because the @sign is in the username. And the URL is not supposed to have that. So the link actually takes you to something that's not his channel.
I know how to do that. I know how to fix that and take the @sign out. But so anyway, on a different overlay, it will work. If anyone stops in, Mike, I know you're on Twitch as well. If you stop in, I can shout you out, throw up one of your clips and everything as well while I'm streaming games and stuff. But anyway, Lars, beer for tonight. After dry January, first beer to have on a stream is a 2019 Eclipse barrel-aged Imperial Stout. So it's a big boy. So I've been sipping on it slow. And I know Nick, you should probably tell Lars. I know we've gone over it a couple times, but Lars is the brew guy. I mean, it's in his name, Lars and Brews. And if you guys check him out over on his channel. He's all about he does brewing on his channel on Sundays, most Sundays, and he any other night that he's playing games, he's drinking good beer or good liquor and talking about it, reviewing it. So
let's see if Lars knows this beer though. So I have a beer from The Alchemist. It is not Heady Topper. It is not Focal Banger. What is it? Let's see if he knows.
I already said what kind of beer it was, but I don't know.
It's a British style Imperial Stout.
Okay, yeah. Well, that'll narrow it down. Google it.
Yeah,
but we'll see if he knows quick.
But I'm curious if he knows like quick, because like everybody that I've told that fucking stout. It's a British style Imperial Stout. I don't know if there's a delay between chat and audio. Oh, easy, luscious. Yeah, boy. That's right. So like most people that I show this to, they're like, "Oh my god, this is Alchemist," because they only know those two fucking beers. Like, apparently it's the only thing they've ever invented ever. So.
Oh well, that's what they get the lines for.
Yeah, but like I had this actually on site when I was there driving around.
Ooh,
went through Vermont.
Lars has a can of Luscious.
Yeah, man. Dude, I still got some downstairs. I got some Hill Farmstead from Vermont. I'm running low on Vermont beer right now.
Well, I guess does that mean road trip soon?
Yeah, I think it's gonna require a roadie.
You got room in your Raptor?
Yeah. I got room. I got 2 coolers. We can fill that thing right up.
Don't tell Abby. She's not listening, right? Okay, so I want to jump into the last topic quick, and this is probably going to be the shortest one. We could either talk about this a little bit, or we could just get back into the gear, because I know that could go on forever. But
talk about my new MacBook. We can talk about.
Oh man, yeah. If we get started on it, we won't stop. But So we were talking about the acquisitions at the beginning of stream a little bit. And what I wanted to get Nick's opinion on a little bit, because he wasn't here the week I talked about the Xbox acquisition when it came to Activision Blizzard, was how this could affect the esports, whether it be Overwatch or more specifically the Call of Duty League, the CDL. And that's something that's just been in a kind of a downward spiral. If you ask, or if you listen to any of like the pros or the org managers or org heads talking about this esport, everyone who plays in it and everyone who runs the team seems to be upset with it, and Activision didn't seem to care.
And everybody's getting fined every single time. So
every time they say something about it, if they're not running it right, they just fine the person for saying it instead of doing something to make the esport better.
But Mike, we hear you, and we're trying to make changes, is what they keep saying over and over and over, but they keep doing nothing. Yeah. So it's one of those like broken record type things where like all the pros are getting frustrated because the complaints that the content creators, professionals signed to those teams, they can't even do anything like stream scrims,
right? Or
like stream. They had like actually an embargo on like them streaming the game. You're not going to stream practices, right?
Right.
But like you can stream scrims, you can stream some other stuff. But because of those matchups that we want to hold for the CDL, we don't allow you to do what you want with your channel when you're playing. And so it was like very limiting on like content creation stuff, that if you had a CDL contract as a player in the league, like you couldn't do certain things on your stream.
And there's a divide there because there's content creators calling out the CDL pros for not making content, and then there's the pros being like, we can't make content because we get fined. So there's that huge divide there, and that's been a huge issue. And then they a huge topic was Halo Infinite launched, and literally first week out, the esports scene, everyone was like, oh my god, this is what we've been asking of Call of Duty League for the last 5 years, and Halo Infinite implements all of it in the first week? What is this? And now fast forward 2 months later, Microsoft, the company behind Halo, behind 343, who's behind Halo, is now making an acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which eventually will be the CDL.
So what, and this is what CDL should have done, because Microsoft partnered with a company, Esports Engine, that was started by the people that started and ran MLG. So they partnered with the same people that did MLG to run HCS, the Halo Championship Series. So they had a bunch of people that knew what the fuck they were doing, knew how to deliver that game type, that format, that whole thing, from years and years of experience. So they didn't try to reinvent the wheel and try to franchise and all this other crap to come out of the gate. So they had all these things that were in place for Halo that, with the delivery side of the content and broadcasting and production, they already knew what the fuck they were doing. They knew how to do the stages. They knew how to do all the setup formats. They came out with like esports ready content from like just team skins for free. You don't even have to pay for them. And some other shit with game types. And then they changed some things, out of the gate. I think there was some early bitching about not having a Team Slayer playlist.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff that was like very much competition focused. Like it was good. Having that early series, like think of how long Call of Duty Vanguard's been out.
Right.
And there hasn't been a competition until CDL starts up. So like the first event, I think it was like a weekend or two ago. And that game's been out for like a little bit now. Halo came out, and within like, I think it was like 3 to 4 weeks, you had your first like
they
major.
Had the same week that they surprise dropped the game, they had the qualifiers that Friday for that major. For the North Carolina major, they had the qualifiers 4 days after the game surprise dropped. Like, are you kidding me? That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like, and when I started playing Halo, like it felt like, it felt like early day Halo when I was when I was playing it. So like, I think I'm like diamond something. I haven't played since like sometime in December because I just haven't had time. And I quite frankly don't have a lot of friends to play it with because I would rather play with friends on it.
Yeah, I'll play it. I know.
Yeah, so I'll
I know.
definitely play with
Actually,
you.
we played a handful of times back early on. I haven't actually played it too much either. I played it at the LAN I went to a few weeks back with like Joe and everybody. Finally got Joe to actually play it some more. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, it's one of those games. Halo's always been one of those games I play with friends, and I don't think that'll ever change. It's a hop on, and it's just good laughs, good times with friends. Especially you get into big team battles, get all the crazy weapons and everything going on. It's so much fun. And I think that's pretty much why I wanted to add this topic in was hopefully Microsoft more or less can help the CDL and also Overwatch 2.
The game is just awful though. Like
as that comes out, so.
Yeah, that one's like the never-ending rumors of
Overwatch
2 development.
A lot of people are wondering if they said they came out, because it was about a month and a half ago now that they came out and said that and Diablo 4 were indefinitely delayed, or they couldn't talk about them at least. And a lot of people are like, oh, I wonder if they did that because Microsoft's going to come in. They obviously this deal was going on behind the scenes and people knew about it, just not the public. And I wonder if Microsoft's going to come in over the next, year and a half as this happens and give them money, time, the things they need to truly make sure these games come out in a state that the company and the developers can be proud of. And that's a hope. I'd like to think that, I would truly like to think that the idea going forward is to make sure that these things come out in the state that everyone is going to be pleased with the legacy that they have. And I'm hoping they do the same thing with Call of Duty. I really hope that, I would love to see them remove Call of Duty from a yearly cycle and say, hey, this will come out once every 3 to 4 years. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to support the scene with maps, with Warzone, those types of things. But the game itself, the new game, the new mechanics, all that, once every 3 or 4 years. Why not? Why not do that and support a game for a little bit? The whole reason we talked about it at the beginning.
Hold on before you get too crazy, right?
Yeah.
Infinity Ward today, 5 hours ago. A new generation of Call of Duty is coming soon. Stay frosty. They're teasing what's going to be released in, when did they announce new Call of Duties? Like August, September timeframe to come out in November. They're already teasing the next one because Vanguard sucks so much.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2.
Absolutely insane.
Which already happened in 2009?
Yeah.
Well, no, because Modern Warfare got rebooted. So now new Modern Warfare 2, but not remastered. It's a different game. But yeah, no, people will buy it, honestly. I mean, I got super hyped for the Modern Warfare 2019, so I can't even talk. But yeah, we'll see how it all goes going forward. I do truly have faith that just with what Microsoft has done with a few of the franchises they picked up over the last couple of years, or companies, I think the big one I look at is Double Fine. They picked up, and Psychonauts 2 this past year got rated in the 90s. It was one of the best rated games of the year. And that game started as a Kickstarter indie game that was trying to come out about a year and a half ago, and Microsoft ended up buying them, giving them money, allowing them to delay the game, allowing them to refund Kickstarters who backed them expecting it at a certain time, and bring out a game that was truly worth it and people absolutely loved. So I'm hoping they can do the same with some of these other huge franchises that have big legacies and maybe bring them back into essentially the glory days, especially when it comes to this esports scene that I like following the different esports now. And it's so funny because a few years ago I was so against esports versus sports and all of that stuff, but I love it now. And it was just me being young boomer. But yeah, so guys, I'm gonna wrap this up for tonight's episode of Cave Conversations. Anyone who's hanging out in chat here, we're gonna hang out for a little bit longer afterward. I know someone redeemed a drink for me. So if you guys, anyone watching this over on YouTube, wants to come hang out with us live, let's stop on over to Twitch from here on out. We're going to see how this goes. Thursday nights at 8 p.m. And
Eastern.
come hang out. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern time specifically. But yeah, come hang out with us.
Mr.
Have a
Worldwide, we
drink.
global.
Have some tech talk. Have a good time. So yeah, for any of you guys watching this over on YouTube, we're going to wrap it up here. Do you have any closing thoughts, Nick?
I got nothing. I need another fucking drink. That's what I need. That's
Well,
my only thought
Well,
right
I think
now.
that's what we're going to have. We're going to have another drink together real quick here. But yeah, for everyone watching the video, we'll see you next week. Peace, guys.